You've been facing an impossible situation for a while now, and I know what it feels like when every step forward feels like you're walking through thick mud. It's like the world is against you, like everything you've tried hasn't worked. Maybe you've reached a point where you're starting to wonder if there's even a way out. But let me tell you something. Your situation is not too big for what's coming next. There's a moment in your life where you have to stop believing in the limitations that the world puts on you. There's a moment when you have to remember your perspective is not the final word. The size of your problem doesn't compare to the size of what's on the other side of it. Don't let the challenges in front of you define the possibilities ahead of you. You've tried everything. You've used every bit of wisdom you've got, every plan you've set in motion, and yet it feels like things aren't turning around. But that's where you need to look at your situation from a different angle. What if the impossible thing you're facing is the exact setup for the breakthrough you've been waiting for? It's easy to get discouraged when you feel stuck, when it feels like everything is spinning out of control. But that's not the end of the story. No, it's just the beginning. You are on the verge of something that might look like a setback now, but is actually setting you up for the greatest victory of your life. Your situation isn't impossible. It's the perfect place for a divine intervention, a shift that will take you from where you are to where you were always meant to be. Think about it. We often get stuck in the how of things. We want to know how the solution is going to come, how everything is going to work out. But what if the real question is not how, but who? Who's orchestrating the plan? Who's working behind the scenes on your behalf? You've been trying to figure it out yourself for so long, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe the answer is that you need to trust the one who sees what you cannot. You see, the struggle you're in right now is not meant to break you, but to strengthen you. It's meant to develop something inside you that you wouldn't discover without this challenge. I know it's hard. I know you've been through some tough times and you've wondered if there's an end to it. But let me remind you, there is always a way through. You are not alone in this. When you can't see the solution, when it feels like everything is going wrong, that's when you need to hold on to faith the most. That's when you need to declare, I know there's a way forward. I may not see it yet, but I trust it's coming. You are not defined by your circumstances. You are not bound by the limitations of this moment. There is something greater working on your behalf, and it's coming to move things in a way you never imagined. Don't let what you see right now deceive you. What's in front of you might seem insurmountable, but there's something greater inside of you. The impossible doesn't stand a chance against the power of what's coming next in your life. Keep pushing, keep believing. The best part is just ahead. When you're facing a challenge, it often feels like the world is closing in on you. The weight of your situation can make it hard to even breathe, and it's easy to believe that the problem you're facing is so big that there's no way out. The more you try to move, the more stuck you feel. And in those moments, your mind starts to tell you that this is just the way things are going to be, that this is the new normal, and maybe you should accept it. But I want to tell you something. Don't let what's in front of you define your future. The situation you're in right now, no matter how impossible it seems, does not have the power to determine the outcome of your life. Too often, we let the circumstances of today cloud our vision of tomorrow. We get so wrapped up in what we're going through that we forget there's a bigger picture, a greater plan that is unfolding, even if we can't see it right now. Here's the thing. When you're focused solely on the size of the obstacle in front of you, you're missing the bigger reality. The problem seems bigger when you're standing right in front of it, but what happens when you step back? What happens when you shift your perspective and stop giving so much power to the thing that seems impossible? Suddenly, the obstacle doesn't seem as overwhelming. It's not that the problem has changed, it's that you changed how you're seeing it. Think about the times in your life when you faced seemingly impossible situations. Maybe you thought there was no way through, no way out, but somehow in ways you couldn't have predicted, things worked out. You came through. Why? Because there's always a bigger picture in play, even when we can't see it. When we focus too much on the problem, it can seem insurmountable. But when we focus on the one who has the power to overcome it, we begin to understand that the situation is just a small part of a much greater story. Your perspective has the ability to shape your reality. When you get stuck in the mindset that everything is falling apart, you're limiting yourself to only one possibility: failure. But what if there's another possibility? What if the very challenge you're facing right now is a stepping stone to something greater? What if what looks like an obstacle is actually an opportunity? The truth is, there is always a way forward, even when you can't see it. There's a plan being put together that you can't always understand in the moment, but that doesn't make it any less real. The road might not be smooth. In fact, it might be difficult. But the size of the problem doesn't determine how it ends. The way you choose to face the problem, your perspective, has the power to change the entire trajectory of your life. When you begin to shift your focus, when you stop seeing the problem as the defining factor and start seeing it as part of the process, everything changes. Suddenly, you're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You're a participant in the journey. And that shift is powerful. When you stop allowing the problems to dictate how you feel, you take back the power. You begin to see new possibilities. You start to realize that what looks impossible is often just a moment in time, a challenge that can be overcome if you choose to move forward. I know it's hard when everything seems stacked against you, but you have to trust that just because you can't see the solution right now doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The impossible situation you're facing today is not the final word on your life. It's a chapter, and there are more chapters to come, each one leading you closer to the person you're meant to be and the life you were always meant to live. You are not bound by your circumstances. Don't let your current situation dictate the course of your life. There is always a bigger picture, and you are a part of it. The challenges you face today are not meant to break you. They are setting you up for something greater than you can imagine. We often think of setbacks as failures, but what if they're actually the moments that make way for breakthroughs? In the middle of difficulty, we tend to focus on how bad the situation is, how deep the struggle is. But that narrow focus blinds us from seeing the bigger picture, that these struggles are preparing you for what's to come. Think about the way a seed grows. When a seed is planted in the soil, it doesn't look like much at first. It's buried beneath the surface, in a place where there's darkness, pressure, and the weight of the earth. The seed could look around and think, this is the end. It's over. There's no way out. But the reality is that in that dark, pressure-filled place, something is happening beneath the surface. The seed is slowly breaking open, being transformed into something that will one day sprout and grow into something beautiful and strong. That process, those moments of pressure and darkness, are essential for growth. It's the same with you. The struggles you're facing, the impossible situations that seem to have no resolution, are not meant to defeat you. They are a part of your transformation. What feels like a setback is actually setting you up for something far greater. You might not see it now. It may not make sense in the moment, but in due time you will look back and realize that it was all part of the plan, the process that had to unfold for you to get to where you are destined to go. We often want to avoid pain, avoid pressure, and avoid challenges. We want the easy way, the quick fix. But what if the struggle you're in right now is exactly what you need to build the strength, the resilience, the character, and the wisdom that will carry you through the next season of your life? It's easy to get frustrated and feel defeated when things aren't going the way you want them to. It's easy to believe that what you're going through is just a roadblock that's going to hold you back forever. But this setback is not the end. It's the beginning of something that is going to take you higher. In fact, it is often the hardest situations that lead to the greatest breakthroughs. Think about the times in your life when things were difficult, when you felt like you couldn't go on, but somehow you made it through. You're still standing, still moving forward, and that's because those tough times did not destroy you, they shaped you. Those were the moments that prepared you for what you are about to step into. You might be in a tough spot right now, and it might seem impossible to imagine how things could ever turn around. But I promise you, what you're going through is not in vain. What looks like a defeat is actually a victory in disguise. It's the process that is preparing you for what you can't yet see. The breakthrough you've been waiting for might not come in the way you expect, but it will come in a way that is going to blow your mind. It's in the middle of the struggle that you'll discover your strength, your purpose, and your potential. Every setback has a purpose. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to trust. It's an opportunity to learn and become more than you ever thought possible. Don't let the temporary difficulty cause you to give up. Don't let the uncertainty make you think it's all over. You are in the process of being shaped into something more powerful than you realize, and the breakthrough you're waiting for is closer than you think. Keep moving forward, because your breakthrough is being formed in the middle of the struggle. The best is yet to come. We often get caught up in the how of things. We spend so much time thinking about how the solution is going to come, how everything is going to work out, that we forget something critical. We don't have to have all the answers. We feel pressure to figure it all out, to know the exact plan, to see the end result right now. But the truth is, life doesn't always work that way. The how isn't the most important question. It's the who. The moment we stop asking how and start trusting in the who, things begin to shift. When we get stuck in the how, we limit our thinking. We become so focused on the details, the steps, the process, that we fail to recognize that there's a bigger force at work. The how of your situation is not always something you can predict, plan, or control. You can't always know how it will work out, when it will happen, or exactly what it will look like. But here's the key. The one who holds the plan knows the way forward. And that's where trust comes in. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that you have to figure everything out. You try to piece together every part of the puzzle yourself, and when you can't, it feels like failure. But this is where the shift happens. It's not about you figuring it all out. It's about trusting in the one who knows the way. The truth is, sometimes the path ahead is hidden from you for a reason. Sometimes you don't need to know the next step. You just need to take the step in front of you. When you trust in the one who's guiding you, you can move forward with confidence, even when you don't know all the details. There's a certain peace that comes when you stop trying to control every outcome, when you stop worrying about how things will turn out and start trusting the one who is working behind the scenes. Something incredible happens. You begin to release the pressure of figuring it all out. You begin to understand that even when you can't see the way forward, the way is already being made for you. The how isn't the point. The trust in the one leading you is what matters. You've likely faced moments in life where things didn't go according to your plan. You had it all figured out in your mind, you had your steps all mapped out, but things didn't turn out the way you thought. In those moments, it's easy to think that everything has fallen apart, that your plans have failed. But what if the failure of your plan was actually the success of a bigger plan? What if what you thought was a detour was actually the direct path to something greater? Sometimes the best thing that can happen is for things to not go the way you expected, because that opens up space for something better, something bigger to come into your life. You don't have to have the entire plan laid out before you can take the first step. In fact, the journey is often about trusting even when you can't see the whole picture. It's about moving forward with faith, knowing that each step is part of a larger design that you can't always understand in the moment. The how might not always make sense, but the who is leading you, knows exactly what he is doing, even when you can't see the path. When you let go of trying to control everything and embrace the uncertainty of not knowing how things will work out, you give room for faith to grow. You give room for trust to become the foundation on which you stand. The journey may not look like you thought it would, but that doesn't mean it's not the right one. And just because you can't see the way forward doesn't mean it's not there. It's easy to believe that if we don't have all the answers, we're failing. But trust is about letting go of the need to control every detail and stepping forward with confidence, even when the how is unclear. The answers will come, and in the meantime, trust the one who is making a way for you, step by step. When you're in the middle of a struggle, it can feel like the weight of the world is pressing down on you. You start to wonder if you're going to make it through, or if this challenge is going to define the rest of your life. But here's the thing. The struggle you're facing right now is not meant to break you. It is meant to strengthen you. You're not being destroyed. You're being developed. The pressure, the frustration, the hardships, they are part of a process that is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It's easy to look at tough situations and only see the difficulty. When things are hard, it's natural to feel defeated, like you're never going to get through it. But you have to remember that the very things that seem to be breaking you are also building you. You might not see it in the moment, but every challenge you face is helping you grow in ways you couldn't possibly imagine. Each setback, each moment of struggle is an opportunity for growth. Think about the muscle building process. When you work out, you don't build muscle by doing things that are easy. You build muscle by lifting weights that challenge you, that push you beyond what you thought you could do. At first, it's hard. It's painful. It feels like you're never going to be able to do another rep. But as you continue, your muscles get stronger. The pain starts to fade, and your strength increases. It's the same with life. The challenges you face may feel overwhelming at first, but if you keep going, if you keep pushing through, you will come out stronger on the other side. This is where resilience is built. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop over time through your experiences. The difficult moments you've gone through, the battles you've fought, the losses you've suffered, those are the things that are developing resilience in you. Each time you get knocked down and choose to rise again, you are building a resilience that will carry you through future storms. You are learning how to withstand the pressure, how to persevere when things get tough. The struggle you're in is not pointless. It's not a random event or something that's happening to punish you. It's part of your growth. You are being stretched, refined, and transformed by the very challenges you're facing. There's a process happening inside of you that is preparing you for what lies ahead. The person you are becoming through this struggle is someone who is capable of handling even greater challenges in the future. You are being molded into a stronger version of yourself, one who can face adversity with confidence and courage. Sometimes it's hard to see the purpose in the pain. It's easy to ask, why me, and how long will this last? But when you shift your perspective and begin to understand that the pain you're going through is producing something valuable within you, it changes everything. The pressure is producing perseverance, and perseverance is producing character. You are becoming someone who is more equipped, more empowered, and more prepared for whatever life throws at you next. The key is to keep moving forward, even when it feels like you can't, even when you're tired, even when you feel like you're running out of strength. The process of development doesn't happen when things are easy. It happens in the moments when you feel like giving up, but choose to keep going anyway. It's in those moments that you build strength that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. So when you find yourself in a tough place, remember this: you are not being destroyed. You are being developed. What seems like a setback is actually setting you up for something greater. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be, and each challenge you face is helping you get there. Keep going. Keep trusting the process. The strength you're developing now will carry you through anything that comes your way in the future. When you're in the middle of uncertainty, it's easy to feel lost. You don't know what the future holds, and the path ahead seems unclear. It's tempting to give in to doubt, to believe that because you can't see the solution right now, there's no solution at all. But the truth is, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. The fact that you can't see the end doesn't mean the end isn't coming. It just means you haven't reached it yet. This is where faith plays a crucial role. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's not about knowing exactly how things are going to unfold or when everything will fall into place. Faith is about trust. It's about believing that even when you can't see the way forward, the way is already being made. When you can't see the solution, that's when you have to lean in deeper to what you know is true. The journey isn't over, and the breakthrough you're waiting for is on its way. There's something powerful about continuing to move forward, even when you don't have all the answers. Faith is moving with confidence, even when the path is unclear. It's holding on to the belief that every step you take is leading you somewhere, even if you can't fully see where that place is. Sometimes the journey isn't about having all the pieces of the puzzle at once. It's about taking one step at a time, knowing that each step is a part of something bigger that will be revealed in due time. This is where the power of trusting what's coming next becomes so important. When everything seems uncertain, when you feel like you're in the dark, that's when you need to hold on to the truth that there is a way forward, even if it's not visible to you right now. The unknown can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to paralyze you. It can push you toward a deeper level of faith, a deeper understanding that the plan is in motion even when you can't see all the details. The idea that the best is yet to come is not just a comforting thought. It's a powerful truth. You may not see how things will work out, but that doesn't mean things won't work out. Often, the most significant breakthroughs come when everything seems the darkest. The times when you feel most uncertain, when you can't find the answers, are the very moments when things are being lined up in your favor. What seems like an obstacle or a delay could actually be preparing you for something greater than you could have imagined. The key is not to give up when you can't see the solution. It's to keep trusting, keep believing, and keep moving forward, knowing that what you can't see is still in the process of unfolding. Faith means continuing to walk even when you don't know where you're going. It's trusting that what you need will show up at the right time. The journey may not look like what you expected, but it will lead you to the right place. Think about the times in your life when things didn't turn out the way you planned. You couldn't see how things were going to work out, but they did. You look back now and see that the things you couldn't understand at the time were actually part of a greater plan, an unfolding story that had to happen in that exact way for you to be where you are today. This is how life works. The things that don't make sense in the moment are often the pieces of the puzzle that come together later, revealing something beautiful and complete. So when you find yourself in a season of uncertainty, remember this: just because you can't see the solution right now doesn't mean it's not coming. Keep moving forward. Keep trusting. The best part of your story is still being written, and you are closer to the breakthrough than you think. When you look at the struggles you face, remember that they are not meant to break you, they are meant to build you. the challenges, the setbacks, the uncertainty. All of it is part of a greater process that's shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. Each step of the journey, even the painful ones, is an essential part of the story that's unfolding. You may not have all the answers right now, and the road may not always be clear, but trust in the one who is guiding you, because what seems impossible today is setting you up for the victory of tomorrow. So keep moving forward with faith, even when you can't see the solution. Trust that the breakthrough is coming, even if you don't know exactly how it will unfold. The best chapters of your life are still ahead of you, and the future is filled with possibilities beyond what you can imagine. Hold on to hope, because the impossible is just a stepping stone to the incredible things that are yet to come. Remember, God will solve your impossible situation, and He is working behind the scenes, making a way where there seems to be no way. Trust the process and never give up. Your breakthrough is on its way.